To the third in a series of entrepreneurial lectures. The College of Engineering is just delighted to have you here. This ought to be a very interesting presentation. Someone that I really respect in his journey, and he's going to share it with us here at Richmond. Mechanical engineering graduate, and someone who was very active in our campus. He's also been very good in the university, so we're really delighted that he's here. He sat in the chair just like you did a few years ago, and then went on to receive his law degree from George Washington University in Washington, D.C. He's practicing law and is a partner with the NAP Law Group in Alexandria, and recently a new father, which is wonderful for his family, and I'm just glad that you're here and we'll get a chance to visit. This particular event is sponsored by the Legends Alumni Organization and the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization, Lawrence Tech. Fortunate to have our chairman of the Legends here, Michael Zielinski, and he's joining us for this, and you'll hear more about the Legends, and as you become along and as you become involved in your own business or work as an entrepreneur, you're welcome to participate in the Legends Entrepreneur Organization. I will also mention to you that this meeting and presentation is being recorded. There will be a DVD that will be presented to you there, and it then will be converted into streaming video and will be available on the university's entrepreneurial site. The address is noted here in the brochure. The next in this series will not take place until January 20th, in which Matt Demers will be speaking. If you do not have a brochure, they are available, and we encourage you to continue to participate in this event. If you are from Dr. Shamani's class and the Project class, Projects 1, make sure that you sign in. If your name is not in there, of course, it can be a problem. So again, I wanted to introduce Derek, and it's all yours.
Okay, thank you. Well, good evening, everybody. Can you guys all hear me okay? Okay. As Don said, I am an intellectual property attorney living and working in Alexandria, Virginia, actually right near the Patent and Trademark Office. And I also was a student here at Lawrence Tech back in 1992 through 97, I guess it was. So I didn't sit in this room because I don't think this building, matter of fact, I'm sure this building wasn't here back then, but I was kind of similar to where you are now, listening to someone stand up here and lecture to you about something that might seem a little distant, but I'll try to make it as familiar as possible to you. One of the things I just want to mention before I get started is that the fact that we have an entrepreneurial series here on campus is actually pretty impressive. I went through school my entire time here to study mechanical engineering, left here, went to law school out in DC, and neither program at the time had this type of course. I've been in practice since 2000, and everything I know about business I had to learn on the fly. So you run into a lot of pitfalls, a lot of low-hanging ceilings, a lot of stumbling blocks when you're learning things on your own. So the fact that Lawrence Tech has this program is actually very, very commendable, and that Don has kept it going so well is also very commendable. So, and I commend you for showing interest in it. One of the things I want to tell you about here with respect to intellectual property, I guess the primary thing is that is really how you use it. But before we get to how you use it, you have to know what it is. Okay, intellectual property really is a number of different things. It's patents, copyrights, trademarks, trade secrets. It's really no different than any other business tool. You'll find that it's going to be similar to something like I don't know, taking an ad in a paper for your business, or hiring the right staff, investing in your workforce, or an accountant, or investing in plant or equipment, or an office, brick and mortar, whatever it is. It's no different than any other tool. A lot of people misconstrue intellectual property, especially patents, and think that if I get some sort of IP, some sort of patent or trademark, then I'm automatically protected against any sort of unauthorized use of my product or my trade name. That's not the case. What the focus is to give you an advantage over your competition. You want to try to, I hate to say it like this because it's kind of nasty, but you want to weaken your competitors. The truth is you're giving yourself an advantage over them, no matter what they're doing. Just like you take you put an ad on television or something like that, that actually gives you an advantage over your competitors. You're getting your name out to people and letting people know who you are. Intellectual property is no different. A lot of this conversation is going to be more about patents because that's primarily what I focus on, but a lot of it is applicable to the other areas of IP as well. With respect to patents, you know, when you talk to someone who's new to the game, you always hear, well, I've got this invention, but I don't want anybody to get it. I don't want anybody to take it from me. Well, if they want to take it, they'll take it. The question is, can you discourage people from wanting to try to take it? Just like robbing a bank. If someone wants to rob a bank, they'll take the opportunity to try. But do you have enough of a security system around your market to protect what it is that you've been investing in? That's really what patents are all about. The nuts and bolts of this stuff, of patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets like I have up here, you really want to understand at least the basics of it so you can start making decisions on how to use it in the future. Patents they're really an exclusionary right. They don't give you the right to do anything. You can invent a new drug or compound that cures cancer, but until you get FDA approval, you're not going to use it on anybody. I can invent a new, the example I like to use is a nuclear bomb. I mean, how many governments are going to let me set off a nuclear bomb? The patent is going to prevent others from copying that nuclear bomb or that cancer curing compound. I can keep anybody from copying my cancer cure until I get FDA approval. Then I'm not only keeping people from copying, and I'm also making money on finally being able to use it. So a patent is an exclusionary right. It's a negative right. It doesn't give you the right to do anything. It just gives you the right to keep people out of your backyard. A trademark is something that protects the blood, sweat, and tears that you've put into building your business. You're going to spend a lot of time really working toward creating something here, and you don't want anyone to profit off of it. And I'll give you an example. Do we have any architects in here? No architects? Is this all engineering? Okay. Okay, so I won't use the architect example. Well, I can use it. There's like I think, don't we have a Frank Lloyd Wright house or something for campus? So say one of you guys, who's not an architect, but were an architect, graduates with a degree in architecture, and the first thing you do is you come up with some sort of blueprint. I don't know what you call it. I'm a mechanical guy, so I don't know the language for it, but you come up with a blueprint for a new building, and you go to sell your blueprints to somebody, and you slap Frank Lloyd Wright in the bottom corner of all your blueprints, and that will cause someone to buy your design. Okay, what you've now done is worked off of somebody else's trademark. You've profited off of someone else's trademark. Frank Lloyd Wright has a reputation. You're selling your blueprints under the guise of being Frank Lloyd Wright, but you're not him. Or another example, okay, so you guys are engineers then, right? Okay, so what's your name? Seth. Okay, Seth. So how long do you have to go before you graduate? Well, I'm not going to ask that question because that can be tough, but you graduate next year. Okay, you're looking forward to your new job. You want to get your nice new car, get a house somewhere, and you get your season tickets to the Lions or the Tigers or whoever's not sucking the worst, and you can't wait to get your life started. I come along, and I sneak in your house in the middle of the night, take your degree from you, and I go apply for a job as Seth. I get the job. I'm the one who's got the nice car, the nice house, the season tickets to wherever. I've just profited off of every drop of blood, sweat, and tears that you put into getting your degree. That's trademarks. That's what you're protecting when you get a trademark registration. You're protecting all of the work you put into building your reputation. The life of these are the two bigger ones that I work with. The life of a patent, it lasts 20 years from the day you file your patent application. It used to be up until June 8th of '95, it was 17 years from the day your patent was issued. The government changed that because they wanted to put our system more in line with the rest of the world. But it's now 20 years from the day you file your application. And for a trademark, it lasts as long as you're using the mark. And then copyrights, the one thing to know about copyrights, there's some writing up here, looks like a sign-in sheet or something. As soon as you put whatever artistic work you have to some sort of tangible medium. As soon as I wrote down the names on here, it's protected, it's copyrighted. Okay, you can't sue anybody on it because you haven't registered it with the Library of Congress. But if someone tries to come in and copy it, that would not be an original work. This is an original work, all of the names that are on here once it's fixed to a tangible medium. And that copyright would last my entire life plus 70 years. So my newborn would be able to profit off my work, hopefully. And then trade secrets. I hope I have time to go into this, but a trade secret is something that that you'll want to use if patents are, the benefits of patents aren't really worth pursuing. And hopefully I get a chance to go into that later. And because actually I thought I had a little bit more time tonight. If you guys have any questions, just go ahead and answer them or ask them. I was going to try to keep the questions till the end, but raise your hand and I'll answer your questions as we're going. There's a whole host of different things you can use intellectual property for. I'm going to just talk about three of them, three very generic ones. Number one, you want to create a foundation for your company. Number two, you want to understand what due diligence is all about and kind of being a good corporate citizen within your market. And number three, you want to be able to assert your intellectual property against others if you need to. Well, kind of digging into that a little bit further, what does the foundation mean? When you're talking foundation, you're really talking about creating that reputation for your company that we talked about with the trademark. If you have some core technology, say I'm a software company or something, or a podium manufacturer, and this is all I do, I'm going to want to protect the design of the podiums, not because I'm afraid someone's going to get it. I might be looking for investors. I might be trying to show investors that their investment in my company is going to be protected because I've got all these different patents that are surrounding this podium. I also might be looking to get into a market that I haven't been able to get into before. So, for example, if I invent a new GPS system and I want to install it in every automobile in the country, I don't manufacture automobiles, I manufacture GPS systems. What I'll do is go to the automobile manufacturers and say, I've got a GPS system that you guys have never seen before, you'll love it. You put it in your cars, your customers will love it. You need to buy this GPS system from me. The only thing to this is I've got a couple of patents on it. You need to license my patents for me. So that would actually, if the automobile companies like your GPS system enough, they'll go ahead and give you a royalty for every car they sell with your GPS system in it. So it gives you a way to kind of get business going. That's kind of the foundation of intellectual property. The due diligence side is kind of knowing what's in your backyard, knowing what you do best and wanting to build those patent fences around what it is you do. So if anyone is looking to kind of steal your market from you, you can assert your patent against them at some point. It's not only that, due diligence is also knowing what's in someone else's backyard. So you know where their property line is. You don't want to, as you're doing your business, develop some product or process that's making you a ton of money, only to find out a couple years into it that someone's got a patent on this, and now you've got to go back and pay them a royalty for every single unit that you sold, or get sued for that royalty plus what's called treble damages, which is a punitive award to the patent holder. You don't want to do that. So every year or so, you just take a look at what's in your market patent-wise, just to see what's going on. So you know you're not treading in anyone else's territory, and also so that you know no one else is trading in your territory too. And then lastly, those last two items are kind of broken up in thirds as asserting your patents against somebody. In the biting dog versus barking dog approach, I mean, you can kind of figure that out. But we'll go to that in a little more detail in a second. One thing very quickly I want to go into on the foundation component is that patents are they're not cheap. They're relatively luxurious for a lot of companies to have. So if you know, I'll just throw a number out there, a patent application would probably cost about $10,000 to write. If you're only going to make $40,000 on a product, I would tell you it makes no sense to file a patent application on this because it would cost you more to get the patent and then try to enforce it than you would get in profits from the product. If you're a company making $20 million on a product, then it's going to cost you $10,000 to write the application and maybe another $10,000 to work the application through the PTO, and then maybe another $200,000 to $500,000 to sue someone for it. I'd say by all means go ahead, because you've got enough of a profit margin there to justify getting a patent. That's only one consideration, though. We're going to go into some others in a minute, but you do need to understand that there's a strategy involved in going after intellectual property. It's not something that you just do because you think you have a unique product. You really want to plan this out, because while you're spending money on patents, you could have been spending money on advertising in a certain market, or newspaper or internet, or upping your workforce or something like that. So you need to really think about that. Going back to the due diligence thing, actually, before I go there, there was one story I wanted to share with you guys. I hate that I missed this. This is a trademark thing. I've got a very good anecdote for you. It's good to me. Before my wife and I got married, we went to an outlet store in Virginia, bought a couple of suitcases from Samsonite. You guys heard of Samsonite before? Okay. I've known Samsonite since I was a little boy. And I told my wife, I said, we are doing good by ourselves by getting the Samsonite luggage. We'll never have to get new luggage for the rest of our lives. We'll be fine. These guys give good warranty. They take care of you. So, we left the store. We're walking with our Samsonite luggage. It's got the wheels on it, so we're pushing it along the outlet mall and all happy. My wife goes on a business trip that very next week, and she comes back, and I'm lifting the suitcase out of the car, trying to be a good husband, and I didn't know my own strength. I pulled the handle off of the luggage. It just snapped off. So I'm thinking, well, we just bought this luggage. This one must have been, that must have been the problem. That's why it was at the outlet store. So we'll just take it back to the store and get another bag. So we go back to the store. They send it back in to have it fixed. About a month or two later, my wife goes on another trip. And the same thing happened to a different handle. The handle just broke off. And I'm thinking, okay, this is ridiculous. So we got into a fight with Samsonite. We want them to take all 4 bags back. This is ridiculous. We're not going to, we want our money back. We spent a few $100s on this, and we could have used that for something else. And Samsonite said, well, we'll take the 3 back that you haven't used, but we're going to let you hold on to the one that's broken. We'll fix it for you and keep fixing it for you, but we're not going to take that other bag back. So we gave them the 3 bags back, and I went and bought some other luggage, a company by the name of Briggs and Riley or something like that. But I bought that luggage because they gave me a lifetime warranty, and I'm thinking it'd be no problem to get it replaced if I need to. Found out while I was buying that new luggage that Samsonite was sold to somebody sometime between the time that I was a little boy and now, or the time that I bought that bag. It's a European company somewhere. They sold the Samsonite sold their name to this European company. So I'm going to the Samsonite store thinking I'm getting the quality that used to be available to me 20 years ago, and I'm ending up with something else. This new company cared nothing about the quality of their bags. They cared about the business they can get from the name. So they had a reputation, in my eyes, when I went into the store to buy the bag. They have a different reputation now. I'll never buy Samsonite luggage again. And I shouldn't make comments about this, especially that this is on video, because I can get sued. But I'll just say personally, I wasn't happy with Samsonite. But by all means, if you like Samsonite, go ahead and get it. Anyhow, getting back to due diligence. You really want to know where your property line is in your business. You guys are going to, as business owners, are going to have certain markets that you operate in, okay? And in that market, you're going to have what's yours, pretty much. I mean, if I'm the podium maker, I want no one to make podiums like I have. I mean, it might be that this is a wooden podium as opposed to a plastic or a metal one. So I'm drawing my property line around all wooden podiums. If I see anybody come out with a wooden podium, I'm suing them, or I'm at least sending them a letter saying you need to give me a royalty on every wooden podium you've made. So doing your due diligence is making sure that no one has crossed into your property line and going after them if they do, or at least sending them a letter saying you need to cease and desist all activity because we've got our property line that you just trespassed on. But it's also, like I said earlier, knowing where other people's property line is too. And it's worth it. Trust me, guys, it is worth the couple $1,000s that you'll spend on doing a search to find where people are operating in the market. Because, like I said, if you are relying on a major product for your company's survival and then you get sued for it, you're going to be up the creek. And people are relying on you for their jobs and their Your wife or husband is going to be upset with you because now you can't send your kids to private school, and there's going to be all kind of stuff that you're just going to have to explain to people, and you don't want to get into that. Well, how do you know what's in your backyard? Usually what I would do, and I'm actually doing this tomorrow, you walk through a person's shop, the attorneys. We'll walk through your shop and just see what you have going on. We'll see what kind of things are you planning on introducing into the market. What kind of ideas did you have that didn't make it? Because see, what will happen is there will be an idea that will come up that won't go anywhere, and then a few months later, you'll actually find yourself trying to market that idea to somebody. So I'll probably come to you guys and lift up every stone, look in every closet and see what's going on in your business to find out, number one, is it patentable for you? And number two, whether you're going to infringe on anyone else's patent. And kind of went into why it's necessary. The assertion of your intellectual property is, am I good on time? Okay. The assertion of your intellectual property is kind of, I don't know if you know this term, we'll say the barking part of it is selling wolf tickets. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that before, but it's something we used to say when someone was trying to act tough and they wanted to scare people away from, doing any harm to them. We do that quite often in my business. You'll have clients that will, or I'll have clients that will just collect patents for, like I said earlier, to get investors, but then they'll come across someone who might be infringing their patent, and they don't plan on suing these guys, or if they sue them, they don't plan on sticking with the suit long, but they do want to put a fear into somebody, because a patent is not really worth much in scaring people if you don't assert it every blue moon. And it's tough to decide when to do that, but because you don't want, if you put your patent up on the chopping block to get it really examined, you don't want to walk away spending a ton of money on a litigation and end up losing. But every now and then you do have to show people that you can't be messed with. I mean, it's just, the nature of patents. They are a document that is supposed to keep people out of your backyard, and when people walk into your backyard, you pull out your shotgun and you kind of go after them. So the barking approach to patent law is selling wolf tickets. I mean, it's kind of posturing, because I've got plenty of clients where we will take a threat of suit all the way up to filing a lawsuit in court, and then that's when the licensing negotiations usually really start pretty seriously. What we'll do is we'll write a letter to an infringer and say, we've got this patent, you guys are infringing it, we'll leave you alone if you give us a 5% royalty on every product you've made in the last 6 years. And usually the first response is, we don't know what you're talking about, go away, and you just keep upping the assertions again and again. And it's kind of a game of chicken, but it's necessary in some cases. It's not always necessary though. Some people they do it by mistake. They walk into your backyard by mistake and you just let them go and you don't worry about them. Okay, this is a part, I think Don has seen this part of my presentation. I didn't bring the golf club with me this time. I was going to bring a golf ball. But I've got my phone here. I want you guys to do me a favor. This is an iPhone. You guys have one? Anyone have one of these already? Okay, so you got a phone, you got a phone. If you've got one, even if you have just any phone, just take it out and look at it. And I want you to kind of guess, give me a good estimate of how many patents do you think that I could get on your phone? How many patents do you think I could get on your phone? I'm going to leave that question out there for a minute and go into a different discussion, because I want you guys to know some of the information that I have before you answer the question. A lot of people will think that patents are something that you have to have some moment of vision to secure, to get. It's not the case. You'll find a lot of things are patentable that you wouldn't have expected to be patentable. There are 7 million, something over 7 million patents in the world. There are not 7 million 7 million millionaires. There are not 7 million Einsteins out there. I mean, there are people coming up with very simple ideas for patenting. The rule for what is patentable is whether your invention is new and would not be obvious. So I was telling you guys earlier, I've got my podium company, and I've got a patent on my podium, and some other guy comes up with my, my podium, except it's not wood, it's plastic. Is the plastic podium patentable? I mean, you guys want to guess? I know the answer. I would say no. The plastic podium is a simple variation of a wood podium. I mean, it's just a different material. So it's a matter of design choice, basically. So the question as to what is patentable is whether it's new, it hasn't been done before, and whether, even if it has been done, or even if it hasn't been done before, whether it would have been obvious to do it or obvious to try to do it. So even with that said, though, there are a lot of simple things that are being patented, and everything that's up there is something that I've worked on. The medical devices, the car parts, die-stamping screws. I patented a screw for somebody. I mean, how old are screws? It's a ramp wrapped around a nail, and but I'm good. Water, farm garden sprayers, stints. I mean, trocars. That's a syringe. I mean, this stuff. It's not rocket science. It's very new, and it's probably going to be more applicable to you guys than you would imagine sitting in these seats. Before I keep going, do any of you have patents already? You've got one.
I'm applying for one.
What? I'm not going to ask you what it is exactly, but what's the technology? What's like? How? For an axle system? Oh, okay. All right. Well, good luck. So you've worked through the process before, so you kind of you're familiar with what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's you'd be surprised how applicable a lot of this intellectual property is to your businesses, especially patents. You know, and it is a very good way to keep others out of your market and to weaken those competitors. When we're talking strategies here, you want to create as many barriers to entry into your section of the market as possible, and that's where we're going to get into this iPhone example. Don't go there yet. Yeah, I'll go there. The patents are kind of broken down into a number of different subsets. There's design patents, utility patents, and plant patents. Utility patents are your traditional patent. When I say I get a patent on something, it's the way the thing is made or the way the thing, what the thing is. That's a utility patent. That's when people are referring to a patent in general, that's what they're talking about. A design patent is a patent on the way something looks. It's a tool that came out of the textile industry when people were trying to protect their textiles back in the, what is that, 250 years ago or so now. And a plant patent is a patent on any asexually reproduced plant. It's exactly the way the name sounds. But plant patents are kind of disappearing. I've actually never seen one. I've been doing this for a dozen years, and I've never seen a plant patent because most plant patents would be something like, what would you call it, like a bacteria or something? Not a bacteria. I'm trying to come up with an example, but I see them so seldom, I can't give you one. Huh. I wish I could give you one, I'm sorry. But so the main patents are design patents and utility patents. Design patents protecting the visual look of something are, they're an interesting breed of patent. I've got a design patent. Actually, let me show this to you. I just did a presentation on this recently. And this is going to help you with your answer to how many patents you could get for, I hope this is it, how many patents you can get for your iPhone. Because while a utility patent will protect the way this thing operates, it will protect the signal that goes to the phone. Well, actually, it won't protect the signal. It'll protect the way the phone receives the signal. It'll protect the button. It'll protect the case, you know, the software inside of it. It won't protect the way the thing looks. Now, you guys are probably thinking, well, what is a copyright for? You can use a copyright for this stuff, but design patents give you a second. Can you see that? Okay, a design patent gives you a second way to protect something. So this is the strategy of developing your intellectual property. Now that is actually Apple's patent. This is an issued patent, and it looks just like my phone. What you see there is solid and broken lines. Okay, so what the patent office does when they get these drawings, let me back up for a second. A design patent, all you do with a design patent, all you're filing is pictures or drawings of your product, whatever it is you're making. There's not really much text at all involved in it. With a utility patent, it's all written. You have to describe how to make and use your invention. So you get utility patent applications that are 50 pages long sometimes, just describing what your syringe is and does, or what your podium does and how it raises and lowers, or something like that. A design patent just protects how the thing looks. So all you're doing is filing drawings. So we have solid and broken lines here. What the patent office does, they say, okay, what design am I actually protecting? This applicant is looking to protect just the solid lines. They're not looking to protect the dotted lines. The only reason they're showing the dotted lines here is because they want to give some sort of environmental context to what you're filing a patent for. So the only way to infringe this patent is if someone comes up with the solid lines really are, they're the silver border around the phone and the button right here. That's all that's protected here. So if someone else comes up with the same silver border, the same button, they're going to infringe. Now there's some limits on that. I mean, you can't really slap this thing on a Buick and expect it to infringe. You have to have some sort of phone-like device or some sort of electronics to have some sort of environmental relationship to what's shown there. But what's protected are the solid lines shown on the drawings. So now I've told you that. Let me go back to my other presentation here. I think I got it there somewhere. Okay, so I've told you that. Do you guys, now that I've told you this about the drawings, now I've told you about the syringes and the podium and the casing, I mean, how many patents do you guys think? Maybe a show of hands for 5 patents. More than 10? Okay, more than 100? You're excluded. More than 1,000? Okay, all right, so you're getting a lot closer. I could probably get, I don't know, 3,000 to 4,000 patents for this thing. I mean, that's assuming that there's no one else out there who's already got a patent on this before I did. But you know, there are so many different ways to describe the way this thing works. There are so many different levels of, I guess, protection that I could get. I could draw my property line here, a circle here. I can kind of overlap it and draw a property line around this way. I can draw a property line around this way. And you get all these overlapping property lines that are slightly different from each other, just enough to give you another patent. So you'll find that there are so many opportunities to you to get intellectual property, both trademarks, patents, and even copyrights, that you won't know where to spend your money first, really. I mean, you won't know which tool to go buy first. And that's where the strategy comes in. Because I can get so many different patents on this, you want to know what to go after first. You guys know that software moves pretty fast. So if I wanted to patent the software that makes this thing operate, or if you wanted to patent, you come to me and say, Derek, I'd like to file a patent application on the software for the phone. I would tell you it's probably a dumb idea. Because, okay, yeah, it's novel. It's something that is proprietary, but it's going to take you so long at the Patent and Trademark Office to get your patent that your software is going to be obsolete anyway. I mean, there's some software that will hang around for a while, but in general, the PTO is backlogged up to about 10 years or so on software patent applications. So I'd tell you just forget it. We can keep it as either as a copyright, we can file a copyright on the software, and or try to keep it as a trade secret if it's something that's difficult to reverse engineer. I'd steer you away from the software. However, the hardware, the stuff that you saw up there before, that's a little different. You know, that might be something that ends up being like kind of particular to your business. You know, the silver border around the phone might be something that only Apple does or only you do. So I'd say let's put as many fences around that as possible. That's not gonna get obsolete. Yes, sir.
So how protected is something if the patent's pending on it, but you already come out and you're selling it?
How protected is something if the patent is pending, right, and you're already selling it?
And you buy something that says patent pending.
That's a fantastic question. I'm impressed. Okay. The protection kind of increases as you go through the process. There is something called, let's see, do I have it in there? No. There's something called a provisional patent application. That's kind of the first step in the patenting process. It's something that gives you a date of invention to the patent office. You can say, okay, I'm just doing a very rough description of what my invention is, and I'm going to file this rough description with the patent office. The patent office will say, okay, that's fine. We're not going to do anything with it, but we'll safekeep it for you. We've got proof that you invented this. Okay, that's kind of one level. You can't sue anybody yet, but at least you can keep others from trying to file a patent on what you invented. Then you go to a non-provisional application. You can say, okay, look, I've spent the last year trying to market my product. I'd like to start pursuing the patent process now. So you move on to a non-provisional application. That is provides a little bit more protection, because what happens in a non-provisional application, it gets published 18 months after the day your original application was filed. Once the application is published, you can really start asserting that application against people. Okay, you can say, look, we've got this application that's pending. You have noticed that it's pending. If you keep infringing this application and it issues, I'm going to sue you for all the infringement you did while my application was pending. And because you had notice, I'm not only going to sue you for the money that I'm out, I'm going to treble the damages, which means triple the damages. So notice gives, this notice part, which is a publication of the application and you sending it to an infringer, or that patent pending that people are slapping on their products, that allows you to be awarded punitive damages. That allows you to up the money by at least 3 times. I'm sorry, by at most 3 times. So, and then obviously once you get your patent issued, that's another level of protection because you can start suing people. But that's a good question. I mean, yeah, it increases as you go through the process. Okay, I think I got a little more time to hit trade secrets. Oh no, the class is over, what, 6:30? 6:35. Okay, this will be real quick, guys. All right. So trade secrets are they're valuable because one of the drawbacks to patents is you have to disclose the best mode of making and using your invention. Okay. My dad actually filed a patent application with me. He's got a turkey spice, and believe it or not, there are recipes out there that people patent. So I filed a patent application with him, and we were trying to kind of skim the line between disclosing the full recipe and just disclosing enough to make the patent office happy. And we disclosed what the recipe did. I mean, this is some juicy turkey. I mean, he's driving back to DC with me next week, and I can't wait to eat the turkey. So he's trying to get a patent on it, and we disclosed that he used a certain amount of salt. I can tell you that because that's in the patent. And there's a certain amount of seasoning in there, but we didn't go into exactly how the salt worked on the turkey and how the seasoning was blended with the salt. Yeah, we didn't go into the chemistry. Thank you. But we thought we disclosed enough to get over the hurdle of disclosing the best mode of making and using this compound. And the patent office said, well, you did, but there's nothing novel here. I mean, this is just a recipe for making turkey. If you tell us exactly how it works on the turkey, we'll give you a patent on it, but you got to give us more than this. So I talked to my dad about it, and we said, you know, food recipes are usually best kept as trade secrets because once it's out, and people can make it on their own for, you know, very easily. So you guys all know, there's 5 famous trade secrets. Is it KFC is one of them, Thomas's English muffins, how they get the bubbles in the muffins, Listerine, and Coke. Thank you very much. I knew it was a big one. And the 5th one, it's something out there. I can't remember the 5th one. Bush's Baked Beans, yeah. I guess that's the 6th one now. That might be the 5th one. I can't remember what that 5th one was. But you know, Coke has been around for 100 years. You know, one of the requirements of keeping a trade secret protected is that you just have to keep it a secret. Once it's out, it's gone forever. I mean, you have one cause of action against someone who misappropriates your trade secret, and that's misappropriation of trade secrets. You sue them once, and that's it. I mean, the secret is out there. You can only go after one person one time. So, you know, hopefully you can get a decent award from them, but the secret is gone once it's gone. So that's a drawback to trade secrets, but the drawback to patents is you get that secret, you put that secret in a patent, okay, the government gives you a monopoly for 20 years, But after 20 years, anybody can use it. I'm sorry, yes, sir?
I was going to say that misappropriation of trade secret, that's not saying another company that comes out of maybe an employee that knew the trade secret and gave it away to another.
Well, that's a good question. You would, in that case, I would go after the other company if they took that secret and used it. I'd also do what I could to that employee to, you know, well, emotionally, I would want to do what I could, but you're not going to get anything from that guy depending on how high up he is. But no, I would go after the other company. So I would love to talk to you guys more about this. I love talking about this stuff, but I only have another few minutes. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to. I think you just had a question, but if you have any more questions, I'd be happy to answer whatever ones you have.
Here, can you kind of review when you were sitting here and you're taking all these courses in mechanical engineering, you reflect back in your experience, you obviously selectively going into law and intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
How did your experience here at Lawrence Tech and some of the courses you how did that really relate to what you're currently doing?
That's a good question. Often I will think about my time here. I was in student government when I was back here, and I was in a number of different student organizations. I mean, Don knows about NSBE that I was in. And, you know, just getting up here talking in front of you guys, I mean, I still get nervous before every presentation. You know, I'm walking down this hall and I'm thinking, you know, is someone going to meet me with horns on their head and, you know, long fangs? But, you know, knowing to expect that from back in college helped with presentations. As far as being in the law, it's not so much the technical aspects of the law that Lawrence Tech helped me with. It's more working with others. Because, you know, you all take senior projects. There's some senior projects people in here, right? Okay, so you guys take senior projects. I did a cogeneration system. I don't know if that's still going on back here. But that, knowing that you're going to produce more as a group than you are on your own, kind of helps me get through some of the spats that I have at work with my partners. Because everyone has their own idea for where a project should go. But you all have to come to an agreement. You can't just get divorced from well, you can get divorced from your group, but then you're on your own and you're going to have to start over. Yes, sir?
I guess more specifically to add on these questions, you studied mechanical engineering here, so what kind of pushed you to decide to go to patent law instead of staying in the engineering field?
I got a big mouth. I like talking, I like running my mouth, and I wanted to do something that gave me the opportunity to talk. And it's funny because, you know, even among, you know, a firm full of 35 lawyers or so, I'm the one who's known as the talker, and whenever there's a presentation to do, they send me out. So I like to talk, and I had a job at a furnace company in Livonia, and it was fun because, you know, I was a thermodynamics concentration, and I used what I learned here at Lawrence, but I didn't have enough personal interaction, and I liked dealing with people a little more. And I would have gotten that at that furnace company, but it wouldn't have been until I was there for years and moved up into management and that kind of thing. I still love engineering, which is why I stayed in patent law, but I wanted to combine that with some job that gave me the chance to talk. Yes, sir?
Kind of going off of their questions, like making the decision, was there a particular moment that you're like, I can go for an MBA, I can go for an advanced engineering
Wow,
degree,
good question.
I can go to like, you know, go to law school. What was, you know, what made you take that road and obviously, you know, it's worked for you?
It's worked some days. That's a good question, because I can remember it very vividly about my decision, the process that I was going through at the time. It was summer, and I was at my mother's house. My stepfather is he's got his PhD in chemistry, and he had a coworker of his over who's also got a PhD. And I was talking to them about what they went through and what kind of work they do. You know, they're telling me about the grant hustling that you have to do and a lot of the courses that you have to teach. And I like the thought of teaching class. You know, I did not necessarily like grant hustling because it put in my mind that people will, my research is going to be governed by what people will pay for. And that was not, I didn't feel like I had the autonomy that I wanted. There was a professor here who really kept hammering away at me to try law school. Dr. Stern, is he still here? Okay, yeah, so Dr. Stern, kept having the idea, you need to apply to law school. You'll thank me for it in the future. And I went to law school. I tell you, it was actually a culture shock because when I got done at Lawrence, it was July 27th, I think, and I moved to DC August 19th, like 3 weeks later. And it was such a culture shock because when we're here, you know, you're used to, you know, working out calculations and you know, you're doing thermodynamics issues or mechanics and materials lab or whatever it is. Then you get to law school and there's no right answer. And you feel so lost. I mean, you know, you got one guy arguing something, you think, yeah, he's got a point. And you got this other guy over here arguing against him, yeah, he's got a point too. So, you know, there's who is more convincing, I guess, is the life I had in law school. But it was such a culture shock. But looking back on it, I'm glad I did it. I still like engineering, but because of who I am, I think it was the best thing for me to do. Very personal questions, but I'll be happy to answer any more if you got them. Right. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate you letting me talk to you today. Thank you.
We're going to be here for a couple of moments and get a chance. For those of you that have an interest in joining an organization, the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization will have a meeting on Thursday at noon. We're going to be getting together at that time. You're welcome to come to that meeting. If you want to see other entrepreneurial lectures, you can go on, as I mentioned, on our University Entrepreneurial website and take a look at those. And I think that you'll enjoy viewing other presentations. And with that, we're pretty much adjourned. If you have not signed in for Dr. Cami's Project 1 class, please do so. And also, I want to thank Professor Fontrill that's here in his class. I hope you enjoy the session and you'll come back for more. Thank you.
Thanks, son.